Welcome back, folks! Not long ago, we dropped a video diving into World War II, and yeah, some of y'all said we were just stirring up fear for clicks. Look, we're not in the business of pushing paranoia. Truth is, the writing's on the wall if you take even 5 minutes to search up the China-Taiwan situation. It's not a conspiracy, it's a potential flashpoint backed by real data. So, what's that got to do with today's topic? Well, if Xi Jinping ever gets bored of his usual scare tactics, flying jets over Taiwan, and decides to go full send, there are only two likely scenarios. Either he's been taken out, or he finally gave the green light to invade. If that second one plays out, we're getting dragged into yet another overseas conflict. Like it or not, it's worth knowing what gear the Chinese military's packing. And today, we're zeroing in on their sidearms, because handguns say a lot about how a military thinks and fights. Honestly, if our intel checks out, we really ought to start seeing more 5.7 by 28mm pistols here at home. China's tried out a wide spread of pistols over the past century. Some hits, some total duds. In this episode, we're breaking down that evolution, battlefield roles, how each one performed, and why some got tossed out for better options. Kicking things off, the Mauser C96. Nicknamed the broom handle, this iconic German-built pistol hit the Chinese scene hard after its 1896 debut. With that sleek sci-fi shape, it's the real-world inspiration for Han Solo's blaster. It became China's go-to during the warlord era, 1916 to 1928. A European rifle embargo pushed China to adopt it as a primary service sidearm. Once import costs became too steep, they snagged Spanish knockoffs, then reverse-engineered the design to roll out their own versions in Shanghai. This thing saw action in the Chinese Civil War and against the Japanese during World War II. Thanks to its long barrel and fast 7.63 buys 25mm round, it offered better reach and accuracy than most pistols of the day. Quality varied, though. Some homemade ones were solid. Others felt like they were banged out in a garage. Still, whether you were nationalist, communist, or warlord, the C96 had fans all around. Coming up next, the Shanxi Type 17. When ammo supply lines got tight during World War II, China decided to mod the C96 to run on good old American .45 ACP. That let them use the same rounds as their Thompson submachine guns. Smart move for logistics. Between 1928 and 1931, they cranked out about 8,500 of these beefed-up hand cannons. The Type 17 was bulkier, heavier, and used a 10-round internal mag. No parts swapped with the original C96, so it was truly its own beast. It hit targets hard and could reach out to 200 meters in capable hands, thanks to its power and barrel length. After the Civil War, most got scrapped due to caliber incompatibility with communist stockpiles, but a few made it to overseas markets. Yan Xishan's troops used them alongside Thompson SMGs, keeping their supply chains tight and efficient. Next in the lineup, the Makarov. By 1947, China was cozying up with the Soviets and picked up the 9x18mm Makarov to phase out older handguns. It wasn't a powerhouse ballistically, but the detachable 8-round mag gave it a serious edge over the C96. Later on, though, China would move on, partly to carve out some independence from Soviet influence. Following that, the Stechkin. Another Soviet import, the 9mm Stechkin hit the scene as a select-fire machine pistol. U.S. troops respected it. Declassified reports called it a serious threat. With a 20-round mag, full auto capability, and a heavy blowback system, this pistol earned its machine pistol label the hard way. Topping off our Cold War picks, the Type 54. Inspired by the American 1911, but more of a crude cousin than a direct copy, the Type 54 was China's take on the Soviet Tokarev TT-33, chambered in 7.62 by 25 mm. It featured an 8-round box mag and saw combat in the 1962 Sino-Indian War and Vietnam. Nicknamed the Black Star for the star on its grip, the Type 54 stuck around for decades. While the QSZ-92 has mostly taken over in the PLA, the Type 54 still shows up with certain units and in the People's Armed Police. Moving on, the Type 64. This one was supposed to replace both the Makarov and Type 54. Born in 1964, but delayed by the chaos of the Cultural Revolution, it didn't see real rollout until the 1980s. It fired a tiny 7.62 Mailing 17mm round, think 32 ACP, and was the first true made-in-China pistol design. Mechanically, it borrowed a lot from the Walther PPK, straight blowback, open bolt, single-action trigger with a side safety. Originally issued to high-ranking officers, it turned out to be a bit of a mess ergonomically and not great in rapid fire. Still, it found a home with police and PAP units even after the military switched to newer platforms like the QSZ-92. Now, let's keep this rolling with the Type 77. Chambered in 7.62 x 17 mm, the Type 77 served as the Chinese military's primary sidearm for over 20 years. You'll still spot it in second-line army units, the People's Armed Police, and plenty of provincial law enforcement. Development kicked off in the mid-70s and was finalized in 1981. By the early 90s, export versions were being produced for the global market. While it's slowly being phased out by newer models like the QSZ-92, it's far from extinct in China's arsenal. Coming up next, the QSZ-92. This is the current workhorse of the PLA, officially adopted in 1994. It's got a tough build and a barrel good for about 10,000 rounds. What sets it apart is the military variant's chambering in 5.8 x 21 mm, offering a 20-round mag and some serious punch. It can punch through 1.3 mm of steel helmet and about 2 inches of pine at 100 meters. That's not just paper performance, that's battlefield capability. There's also a 9mm version, more common in the civilian world and even exported to countries like Bangladesh, where it's known as the Type 92. The design feels Western: polymer frame, steel trigger pack, solid ergonomics. But one gripe? It lacks rails for optics or lights, which puts it behind other modern handguns in modularity. Still, it's a proud homegrown effort for China, and a real step up from the old Soviet-era sidearms. Next in the chamber, the Norinco CF98. If you've handled the QSZ-92, this will feel familiar. The CF98 is its export sibling, also known as the EM98-9. It fires 9mm, uses a rotating barrel system, and has a polymer grip housing a removable steel frame. Retailing around $250, it's easy on the wallet. Compact in hand, it's good for smaller grips, though the mag extension can make reloads awkward. The decocker-style safety is frame-mounted and mimics the Beretta 92. But you can't carry it cocked and locked. The slide is well cut for grip, though the factory sights leave a lot to be desired. The trigger's okay in single action, but double action is rough. Despite that, it cycles reliably with few malfunctions. While it won't win any beauty contests, it's a functional budget option. Sliding in next, the compact QSZ-11. Designed for officers and personnel needing a more discreet sidearm, the QSZ-11 is a scaled-down alternative to the QSZ-92. It's built on an aluminum alloy frame and runs a basic blowback system. You're looking at a double-action trigger, slide-mounted safety, and an 8-round single-stack mag. It's chambered for 5.8 by 22mm subsonic DCV-05, making it quiet and compact, ideal for tight spaces and plainclothes carry. Now, for something more modular, the QX-04. This is China's answer to modern multi-caliber handguns. Swap out the barrel, slide, and mag, and you can run it in 9 by 19 mm, 45 ACP, 40 Smith & Wesson, or even the classic 7.62 by 25 mm Tokarev. It takes design cues from the QSZ-92, but works differently thanks to a fluted barrel that draws comparisons to the old Savage 1907. The export model, known as the CS-LP6, was first shown off in 2011. Whether the action is delayed or straight blowback is still up for debate, but its goal is clear: modular performance for global buyers. Finishing strong, the QSW-06. Built as a quieter alternative to the aging QSW-67, the QSW-06 is a suppressed pistol based heavily on the QSZ-92 platform, sharing about 60% of its parts. Internally, though, it uses a fixed barrel system instead of the QSZ-92's rotating lock. Chambered for the subsonic 5.8 by 21 mm DCV-05, it's whisper quiet with the included detachable suppressor. It can also run standard DAP-92 ammo. You get a 20-round double-stack mag, accessory rail, and a solid frame, perfect for stealthy operations and special forces work. Let me know if you'd like these adapted into video-ready narration, or formatted into slides, timelines, or a shooter's handbook-style breakdown.